Okay, so verse 4 is describing some sort of instruments, some sort of design which is keeping them bound, being described as fetters, iron without weight. Now, this is describing an energy design, a terrestrial energy physics, which is being used to bind or loose terrestrial spirits, of which we saw or being categorized as spirits that were born on earth shall stay on earth. Now, at this point, my friends, we're not talking about the actual locust and the current living generation of these locusts from the book of Revelation describing the fifth trumpet. At this point, we're talking about the spirits of this generation of fallen sons of God that have lived and died, and now their spirits are being bound on earth. This is showing you what's binding them, this terrestrial energy design, and where it's binding them. It's binding them in these hurled stones. Okay? And their angels may be overwhelmed with hurled stones as the Lord of Spirits has commanded. So I'm going to show you that that's exactly what they're talking about. They're talking about this tetrahedron, or the Star of David, the sixth seal. I want you to see one other place that we have that is describing the same thing. Throw upon him hurled and pointed stones, covering him with darkness. All right. I want you to check this out. Okay, what you're looking at is a cross section of a hexagonal or a hexagonic crystal. And in other words, if I was to cut a crystal in half, then this would be the cross-section shape as you would be looking directly at it. Now remember, we're talking about in Enoch that they're being described as being kept in hurled stones. I'm going to show you that these hurled stones are going to be exactly connected to this terrestrial energy physics, of which I'm calling the sixth seal. Now keep in mind, this sixth seal also is representing a six-sided geometry. And then of course this hexagon is representing a six-sided geometry. Now go ahead and watch this very closely. Boom. Exactly. Now that is a scientific translation of one of the most ancient records of supposed Hebrew origin, the Book of Enoch. And this demonstrates perfectly for us, my friends, that this is exactly where these beings are being kept. They're being kept. Now, not these beings meaning the locust, the living generation. We're talking about these spirits. Now, when we talk about these spirits, we're not actually talking about the fallen prince. He's not bound in crystal, but he is still bound by the terrestrial energy physics, of which this sixth seal is even making the crystal boundary of which these beings are being kept in. So very, very complicated, but nonetheless, we've just showed exactly what the hurled pointed stones are of the Book of Enoch, of which these beings are being kept in, being described as crystal further in the Book of Enoch. And then we've just shown their connection to the sixth seal by their cross-section of a hexagonal shape. And then this hexagonal shape in its cross-section, when we make the Star of David, gives us a side view of a perfect representation of a crystalline structure in itself. I hope that you absolutely recognize what just took place before your eyes. I'll be back.